good and specialized at valuation Excel or PowerPoint or accounting or IT management, and it actually makes your other tools a little bit less sharply honed. Like you become less the Swiss Army knife and more the Excel jock or whatever. And then when you try and go to a company, unless it's a company that really needs an Excel jock and its product is Excel jockery, then you have to develop something else. So this is the picture as it currently stands. All right, so what we're doing with Venture for America, I think many of you will appreciate, is that we're going to provide a pathway for people who want to work at startups from the get-go. So we're going to recruit between 50 and 100 of the best college graduates in the country, recent college grads, and say to them, we will help you down this road. So you will go to a 5-week training camp at Brown University next summer with 49 of the other top kids in the country. And then we will send you to work at a startup in Detroit, New Orleans, Providence, potentially Cincinnati, potentially Las Vegas. And then there in those cities, you will live with 10 to 15 of your program mates. Every month, you'll meet with another entrepreneur in the community. And every 2 weeks, you'll meet online with each other to review various curricular readings that we'll assign and how they relate to the work you're doing. At the end of the 2 years, we're going to give one of you $100,000 in seed money to start a business. Now, you don't have to start it immediately. You can just sort of keep the award. If you like what you're doing, you can continue to work at your company. So what we're going to do is we're going to connect the talent to the need and the opportunity. We're going to build a bridge. And for those people who want to step down this road, we're going to introduce a more genuine element of choice. Because right now on our college campuses, people believe that there are only 3 or 4 things they can do. And we're here to, in part, convey the message that there's a universe of possibility. That there are many things you can do. There are cool companies all over the country doing amazing things. So that's Venture for America. This is what I've decided to do after my company was acquired. Happily, a lot of people agree with hopefully many of the people in this room that this is a good idea. I'm one of the less cool people associated with this organization. If we were to line us up by median coolness, least cool to most cool, I'd be somewhere below the 50% mark. So the board of directors includes venture capitalists, executives. Robin Chan's a friend of mine who sold his company to Zynga. Our investor board includes David Lee, who's Ron Conway's right-hand man at SV Angel in the Valley. Josh Linkner is the biggest VC in Detroit. His partners include Magic Johnson and Dan Gilbert. Chip Hazard's one of the big VCs here in Boston at Flybridge. Some of you guys might know him. David Tisch is the managing director at Techstars New York. So there are a bunch of established investors and VCs that believe that the country needs this sort of initiative and have put their names and weight behind it. And if you become a fellow in this program, you will meet these people. So to the extent it's appealing, to the extent they look nice. All right, so our metrics for success with Venture for America are we're trying to create 100,000 new US jobs. We think the best way to do that is by getting our best and brightest into position to help promising companies grow. And so we're going to take credit for everything these fellows do for the rest of their careers. And from that, we will get our 100,000 jobs. The second thing is that we're going to keep track of how many of these kids remain engaged in startups and entrepreneurship. And I have to say, it's not going to be hard to keep them there because working for startups is the greatest thing there is, at least in my experience. Now, for those of you who are thinking, hey, the odds seem long because a lot of people are going to apply to this, and they're only going to take 50 to 100. We're going to take the top 20% of the database or so, and if you want, we'll make your information available to startups all over the country that want to hire talented college grads. We're going to make it easier for both sides to connect, which is for the students who want to get into the startup space and for startups that need talent. I ran a company for 6 years or so, and we were always hungry for talent. We were always looking for young, smart kids to hire, and it was always a pain, because we couldn't compete on the same level as the larger professional service firms on campus. So Venture for America is going to help address that from both sides. If you're thinking about applying, there's really only upside and there's no downside, except maybe a little bit of your pride, which, if you're going to do this stuff, you probably shouldn't have that much pride. No, just generally, because, the social entrepreneurship generally, or entrepreneurship generally, because you're going to get significantly more negative reinforcement than positive most of the time. If you're asking for money or whatnot, most people will say, that's very interesting. Yeah, question?
Yes, Natalia, Nakas on Twitter. So first of all, thank you so much for creating this program. I am actually very curious in terms of your recruitment and selection process. As many of us in this room knows, there's an overwhelming tendency of white guys in the startup, particularly tech startup ecosystem, and many times it's perpetuated by the idea of the network that guys have VCs and entrepreneurs and their networks, and they hear about the opportunities. So I'd love to hear how, in addition to your focus in getting more talent into not the coasts, what are you thinking about, if you are, maybe this is the first time, like what are you thinking about in terms of ensuring that maybe there are more people of color and more women getting into startups?
Sure. What's your name?
Natalia.
Natalia?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, you're one of the speakers. I saw your bio. Oh, congrats on what you're doing.
Thanks. As to you.
I have good news, Natalia. I went to Brown. Those of you guys know, we're very conscious of trying to build a diverse group of both applicants and fellows ultimately. It's one of the things that we're excited about doing, honestly, is that as long as the talent is there, we know that talent comes in many different forms and shapes and sizes, obviously, and gender. And so the goal is going to be to build a base of fellows that is representative of the country, really.
That's great.
Yes?
Sounds good, but I'm curious why the people who join the organization and have to turn up the day, trustees unknown, and going to try.
What's your name?
Ravi?
Ravi?
Yeah.
Ravi, I have a fantastic stat for you. So Teach for America drew not only 18% of Harvard seniors to apply for teaching jobs in rural US that paid about $35K a year, but 12% of Ivy League seniors applied. 46,000 college graduates applied for 4,500 spots. So there's clearly a massive surplus of a demand for this sort of opportunity to work in rural areas at that compensation rate. So we're very confident, and we've already seen, even from our early exposure on college campuses, we already have many hundreds of applicants who've thrown their hat in the ring. So the talent is willing, and the college students in this room can attest to it. Anyone want to attest to it? All right. It's all right, good. So some people raising, that's good.
Two more questions?
Sure, yeah.
Well, even though I'm way past the age of applying, I would have loved to have that program when I was that age. But I'm wondering about, for the other people in the room who are at that age and would like to avail themselves of the opportunity, what's the application process look like? Is it an essay? Is it an essay and a resume?
It's a resume, a transcript, recommendations, and essays. It's very much like a grad school application. We are planning on going both downstream and upstream over time, so that downstream is going to be people who are looking for internships before their senior year to connect to startups, and then upstream is going to be experienced professionals like yourself that might have an interest. But right now we're focused on recent college grads. Yes?
How does an entrepreneur, say in Providence, get connected with your organization?
If you know of anyone that you think runs a great company, just send them to our website. There's a ventureforamerica.org/companies, and then they can submit their info and we'll reach out to them. The way we connected with people in Providence is that one of our board members is a guy named Charlie Kroll, who runs a company in Providence called Endera, which you might be familiar with. Yeah, you know Charlie. So Charlie's one of our board members. He held an event. He connects us to the companies that he thinks would have an interest. But we could always use more companies to kick the tires on. So if you know of anyone, please send them our way.
Was there one more question up here? That's right.
What do you mean by recent college grads? Is it somebody 2 years with their first job, or?
Yeah, 2 years is fine. Honestly, we're looking for someone with a certain risk profile. We're looking for someone who would take, to Robbie's point, $35K a year for 2 years and not feel like they were beset by major peer pressure issues or something like that. We're not averse to people who've been out of school, that's for sure. Hey guys, thank you all. Have a great rest of the day. And ventureforamerica.org. Like us on Facebook. Thank you.
Awesome. Please, I really enjoy that. I definitely will be applying since I'm an undergrad right now. Please join me in thanking Andrew one more time, and I think he's going to be around after. Am I correct? So if you're interested in talking to him, please talk to him. Very interesting guys, you've all seen. So please thank him one more time with me. Really appreciate you coming out there. Please feel free to talk to him after. Now we're going to move on to the pitching part of the program. So we have selected a few people to pitch their social idea. And I'm going to hand it off to Dr. Neil Seigel to tell us more about the pitch contest. Thank you.
Thank you, Arun. So as we get started, I would first like to invite all the judges up front. The judges for this pitching contest are Subbu Kota, founder and chairman of the Boston Group. Second judge is Laura Sampath, who is with the International Development Initiative at MIT. Ravi Angadi, who is a Sloan Fellow. Praveen Chaturvedi, who is the CEO of NAPCO Pharmaceuticals. Vikas Mehta, who is with the social enterprise analyst, as a consultant. And last but not the least, Raj Sharma, who is vice president at Merrill Lynch Bank of America. Today we have 7 contestants who have been invited to make a presentation. I will give the order in which I'll be inviting them so you can sort of be mentally prepared. We'll start in a couple of minutes after I finish. The first speaker will be from Alternate Universal Technology, Steve Palmer. The second pitch will be by the Teacher Refresh Project by Megan Marcus. The third presentation will be the project Civeco by Gary Lee. The fourth presentation will be Care Share by Helen Addison. The fifth presentation will be We Make Change by Saman Baghashian. The sixth presentation will be Sathi by Catherine Smith. And the last presentation will be Gyani by Sachin Banerjee. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be on the side. Each presenter will have 2 minutes to make their pitch. I'll be sitting up front, and after 1.5 minutes or 30 seconds before your time ends, I'll sort of raise my hand, so I'll give you a little hint, so you know you have 30 seconds more. After that, you will have 2 minutes for question and answers from the judges. After that, basically you leave. The judges have 2 minutes to write their comments and do the scoring. And then finally, we have a minute for transition to load your PowerPoint presentation or whatever. So hopefully, 7 presentations, 7 minutes each. We should be out of this place by 2:15. So that's the schedule. It's one of the most interesting aspects of this conference, and you'll get to learn a lot about how people pitch and how they are judged. So as you mentally prepare for your talk, I'll just like to talk for a minute with the judges, give them the scoring sheets, and we'll be ready to go. Ranjani, if you want to load the presentations.
We're going to begin in just a minute, so I'm just going to make sure that the presentations are getting loaded. I wanted to also say that following the pitch contest, there will be the on-conference session, so you can continue many of your conversations out there. And please give a great encouragement to these wonderful companies that are pitching today.
Ranjani, raffle?
Oh, yes. Very important information. You all have a chance to win wonderful coffee from Equal Exchange, which is a company that does, it's a social enterprise company that brings coffee, and while it's doing that, it is actually bringing a lot of good other than keeping us all awake at the right times. So there is a raffle bowl outside, and if you put your card inside, they would love to call somebody's name out, and I'm sure you'll get not only feeling good coffee, but coffee that makes you feel good because you're creating a social impact. So don't forget, put it outside in the bowl. Is there a bowl outside, Vanita? Yes, exactly. Oh, at the registration desk. It's a good place to have it.